When you see a child with Down syndrome, something happens inside you. Maybe an uncomfortable smile, maybe you don't know where to look, maybe you feel a pity you never asked to feel, maybe you search for the right thing to say and end up saying nothing at all. We're not judging you. That's a human reaction to something the world never taught you how to receive. But here's what you need to know. While you're processing that discomfort, that child is already looking at you, already smiling at you, already reaching towards you, offering everything they have without asking for anything in return. They don't understand diagnosis. They don't know the world sees them as different. They don't carry the prejudices that so many of us carry without even realizing it. They don't know statistics. They don't know labels. They don't know the expectations people place on them. They only know how to love. And somehow, that's what changes everything. That's what has undone us. That's what has humbled us. That's what has transformed our family. This is a letter from parents whose lives were changed forever by one extraordinary little boy. We're asking you for something. We're sharing what these children have taught us, and we're inviting you to see them the way we do. Before we became parents of a child with Down syndrome, we were just two people with the same fears every parent has. The fear of not knowing what we're doing, the fear of making mistakes, the fear of not being enough. Would we know how to comfort him when he cried? Would we be the example he deserved? Would we give him the life we dreamed for him? Every parent knows those fears. They're universal, they're human. But the day we learned our son had Down syndrome, those fears changed. They grew, and new fears appeared we had never felt before. We worry that people would see a diagnosis before they saw our son. We worry that someone would hurt him without ever intending to. Not with cruelty, but with a look, a comment, an awkward silence, a lowered expectation. We worried about the world he would inherit, and we worry about all the things we wouldn't be able to protect him from. Those fears never completely disappear, but over time, something changes. You stop focusing on what your child might face, and you start seeing who your child actually is. And when that happens, fear slowly begins to lose its grip, because you realize your child is not a diagnosis to manage. He's a person to love. And we know we're not the only parents who feel this. These are thousands of families all over the world carrying these same fears, loving these children with everything they've got, doing their best every day to help the world see what they see. We're asking you for something. The next time you see a child with Down syndrome, look at them. Really look. Not with pity, not with discomfort, not with that expression that says, poor thing, without ever saying a word. Just look. Because before they're a diagnosis, they're a child. A child who laughs, a child who plays, a child who gets frustrated, a child who dreams, a child who belongs. A child with a family that loves them more than words can explain. They don't need your pity. They don't need to be treated like they're fragile. And they don't need you to look away because you're afraid of saying the wrong thing. They simply need what every human being needs: to be seen, to be welcomed, to be valued, to be treated with the dignity they already have. Because the truth is, these children have so much more to offer than most people realize. There is joy in them. There's courage in them. There's kindness in them. And if you give them a chance, they'll teach you things no diagnosis ever could. We know that because we've seen it. Not once, not occasionally, every single day in our son, and in so many children just like him. Before we had a child with Down syndrome, we thought we understood love. We thought we understood patience. We thought we understood sacrifice. We thought we knew what it meant to be parents. And then Samuel came into our lives. And we realized how much we still had to learn. These children have a way of teaching lessons that can be learned from a book, a podcast, or a motivational speech. They teach you that love isn't based on performance. It isn't earned. It isn't reserved for people who meet expectations. Love simply shows up every day, without conditions. They teach you that patience isn't just waiting. It's celebrating progress that nobody else notices. It's finding joy in the smallest victories. It's learning that every step forward matters. And they teach you something about sacrifice. That the most meaningful sacrifices rarely feel like sacrifices at all. Because when love is at the center, what you give doesn't feel like something you're losing. It feels like something you're grateful to give. Our son has changed us. Not because of what he's accomplished, not because of a diagnosis, not because of who he is. He has made us more patient, more grateful, more present, more aware of what truly matters. And we need you to know something. If we could go back and rewrite our story, we wouldn't remove him from it. Not for a second. Because we are better people because Samuel came into our lives. And we're not only family that says that. Across the world, thousands of parents tell the same story. These children change us forever. And every one of those changes was for the better. There were moments when the only thing holding us was faith. Not the polished kind of faith. Not the kind that sounds good in a quote. The kind of faith that happens on your knees. The kind that asks questions. The kind that cries. The kind that keeps going even when the answers don't come right away. There were days when we didn't understand the road in front of us. Days when fear was louder than confidence. Days when all we could do was trust that God knew something we couldn't yet see. Early on, we were told that our son was coming with a purpose, with a calling, and we chose to believe it. Not because it was easy, but because deep down, it was the only thing that made sense. Today, when we look back, we can see pieces of that purpose unfolding. In the lives he's touched, in the people he's changed, in the way he's changed us. Now we don't know what your faith looks like. We don't know what you believe. And we're not here to tell you what you should or should not believe. But we do know this. There's something about these children that reaches deeper than a diagnosis. Something that can be measured on a chart. Something that can be captured by statistics. Something you feel when they look at you. Something you experience when you truly know them. For us, that's been one of our clearest reminders of God's presence in our lives. We see it in our son every single day. And whether someone calls it faith, grace, purpose, or simply love, we believe most families eventually discover it. Because somewhere along this journey, these children reveal something extraordinary. Not just about themselves, but about all of us. We're going to be honest with you. This takes work, a lot of work. Therapy appointments, doctor's visits, early intervention, daily routines, constant learning. Days when we're exhausted, days when we're unsure, days when we wonder if we're doing enough. And it's not just us. It's families all over the world doing the same thing, showing up again and again, giving everything they have for their children they love. But somewhere along the way, we discover something. Work done out of love feels different. It doesn't mean it's easy. It just means it's worth it. Every therapy session matters. Every exercise matters. Every breakthrough matters. And every milestone, no matter how small it may look to someone else, feels enormous to a family like ours. Because we know what it took to get there. But there is something else that drives us, a vision. We don't want Samuel's life to be defined by limitations. We want him to be independent, to make his own choices, to build meaningful relationships, to contribute to the world around him, to write his own story. And that future doesn't happen by accident. It's being built right now, one therapy session at a time, one lesson at a time, one encouragement at a time, and one "you can do this" at a time. But that future isn't shaped only by what happens inside our home. It's shaped by what happens outside of it too. By teachers, by classmates, by employers, by neighbors, by strangers, by people like you. Because a child who grows up feeling seen, respected, and included learns something powerful, that they belong. And a child who grows up feeling overlooked, underestimated, or pushed aside can carry those messages for years. That's what we're asking. This isn't only about making a child feel accepted today. It's about helping create the adult they're becoming tomorrow. The world our son will live, it is being built right now, by all of us. The work is real, the challenges are real, but so are the victories. And every time Samuel reaches a new milestone, no matter how big or how small, he reminds us of something we've learned over and over again. Love the child in front of you. Keep showing up and never stop believing in what's possible. Before Samuel, we celebrated things most people celebrate. The big milestones, the promotions, the achievements, the moments the world tells you you are important. And then our son came into our lives. He taught us to celebrate differently. We learned to celebrate a sound, a glance, a new word, a moment of connection. The first time he sat up on his own, the first real laugh that filled the room, his first step. The moments that many people barely notice became some of the biggest victories in our lives. Because when you've waited for something, worked for something, prayed for something, you experienced it differently when it finally arrives. And we discovered something unexpected. Those celebrations didn't make our world smaller, they made it richer. They taught us to slow down, to pay attention, to stop rushing past the moments that actually made up a life. And we're not alone. There are thousands of families learning the same lesson every day, learning to find joy where they never thought to look before. So today we're asking you for something. Learn to celebrate this way. You don't need a child with Down syndrome to do it. You just need to be present, really present. Celebrate the small victories, celebrate the progress, celebrate the people you love while they're right in front of you. Because one of the greatest gifts these children have given us is a different way of seeing life. A way that notices what truly matters. And once you learn to see the world that way, it's very hard to go back. And there's something we want to say to the children who will grow up alongside kids like our son. Be their friend. Invite them to play. Save them a seat. Wait for them when they move a little slower. Celebrate them when they accomplish something they've worked hard for. And don't be afraid of what makes them different. Get to know them. Because once you do, you'll discover something important. Kids aren't born with prejudice. They learn it. But they can also learn something better. They can learn kindness. They can learn patience. They can learn inclusion. They can learn that the person's value has nothing to do with how fast they learn, how clearly they speak, or how closely they match everyone else. They can learn that different isn't less, it's just different. And sometimes the friends who teach us the most about life are the ones the world least expects. A friend with Down syndrome may teach you loyalty. They may teach you joy. They may teach you how to celebrate others. They may teach you how to love people exactly as they are. So include them. Stand up for them. Laugh with them. Grow up with them. Because the friendships you build together won't just change their lives. They might change yours too. We know that's true because that's the kind of person our son is. And from what we've seen, he's not the exception. He's part of something beautiful that so many of these children are. We know that sometimes people don't know what to say when they meet a child with Down syndrome. And honestly, we understand. Maybe you're worried about saying the wrong thing. Maybe you don't know whether to ask questions. Or maybe you think you're supposed to act differently. So let us make it simple. Treat them like any other child. Say hello, smile, start a conversation, play with them, include them. You don't need special words. You don't need special training. You don't need to walk on eggshells. Just be human. And if you're curious, it's okay to ask questions. Most families would rather have an honest conversation than be met with silence. We would rather hear a sincere question than see someone look away because they feel uncomfortable. Because the truth is, the most painful thing usually isn't ignorance. It's distance. It's the feeling that people are afraid to engage. It's the silence that quietly communicates, you're different, and I don't know what to do with that. But here's what we want you to know. Our children don't need perfection from you. They don't need you to have all the answers. They don't need a carefully rehearsed response. They just need connection. A smile, a greeting, a moment of kindness, the same thing every human being needs. Because there's nothing wrong with these children. There is something beautiful about them, something valuable, something deeply human. And if you give yourself permission to know them, you'll see it too. Many children with Down syndrome don't use many words yet. Some are still learning to speak. Some communicate differently. But make no mistake, they are telling us things every single day. They're saying, I'm here, I matter, I belong, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm capable. I'm more than a diagnosis. And they don't say it only with words. They say it with every smile, with every attempt, with every challenge they refuse to give up on, with every milestone they reach after working twice as hard to get there. They say it every time someone underestimates them and they keep going anyway. They say it every time they accomplish something the world wasn't sure they could do. And we, as their parents, have the privilege of hearing those messages every day. We hear them, we believe them. And we're here to repeat them to anyone willing to listen. These children matter. These children belong. These children are capable of more than many people imagine. And these children will leave their mark on this world. Not because they have to prove anything, not because they need to learn their place, but because their lives have value simply because they are here. Our son reminds us of that every day, and we're not going to let the world forget it. Not for Samuel, not for any of them. We still have fears. We probably always will. We worry that one day someone might hurt our son with a word. We worry about the moments we won't be there to protect him. We worry that not everyone he meets will see his value the way we do. And if we're honest, some of those fears never completely leave. They're part of loving someone this deeply. But we also know we're not alone. Right now, as you're watching this, there are parents all over the world carrying the same concerns. the same hopes, the same prayers, the same determination to give their children every opportunity possible. And for all of us, there is something that keeps us moving forward. A conviction, a quiet certainty. That belief that these children are exactly where they're meant to be, that their lives have purpose, that their presence matters, and that every effort we make today is helping build the future they'll live tomorrow. Every therapy session, every encouraging word, every lesson, every moment of patience, every moment of love, none of it is wasted. It's all becoming part of the person they're growing into. And when we think about Samuel's future, we don't just see a diagnosis. We see a young man, a friend, a neighbor, a contributor, a person with dreams, relationships, responsibilities, and a life that is uniquely his own. That's the future we're working toward. And despite every fear we've ever carried, we believe something deeply. Our son is going to be okay. Not because life will be perfect, not because every road will be easy, but because he is loved, because he is capable, because he belongs, and because every day we're helping him build the confidence to walk into the future that was made for him. So this is our introduction, not just to our son, but to a community of children the world too often misunderstands. Children who are deeply loved. Children whose families fight for them every day. Children whose victories are celebrated. Children whose futures are being built one step at a time. Children whose lives matter. We introduce you to our son, and through him, to all of them. To every child with Down syndrome who has parents cheering from them sidelines, who has brothers and sisters walking beside them, who has people believing in them even on the days when the road feels hard. And we want to leave you with one final request. We're not asking you to feel sorry for them. We're asking you to respect them. We're not asking you to lower expectations. We're asking you to believe in their potential. We're not asking you to pretend the diagnosis doesn't exist. We're asking you not to let it be the only thing you see. Because these children are so much more than Down syndrome. They are sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, friends, classmates, neighbors, future co-workers, future husbands and wives, people with gifts to share, relationships to build, and stories to deserve to be told. And if there's one thing our son has taught us, is this. A person's value is not determined by how closely they match the world's expectations. Their value is already there. It's always was. So when you meet a child with Down syndrome, don't start with the diagnosis. Start with the person, because that's who they are. And that's who they've been all along. With love from Samuel's parents and from countless other parents around the world who would say exactly the same thing.